We are here now with star of Encore from Disney Plus, Adam Wachter, the musical director. Say hello to Tamworth, Adam.
Hi, Tamworth. Hi, everyone.
It's not like you've said that before at all. Sorry for people listening. I've had to just start the recording because I'm new to Zoom, and we've got through halfway through the interview, and we've had to start again.
But it wasn't that interesting. You didn't miss anything if you're just tuning in now.
Okay, so so we're going to talk about Encore, obviously, because that's been big thing recently with Disney Plus. And in that show, you guys, you and a director kind of reunite people from high school, and you put on one of their old shows in just 1 week. And I'm wondering how intense for you as a musical director, is that to just do 1 week and put on a whole show?
It is very, very intense. I will not lie. It's
Okay.
because really, at the end of the day, we don't even get a full week. It's ultimately 5 days. And even the days aren't full rehearsal days because they're pulling actors constantly for interviews or
Yeah,
costume fittings or what have you. So the time is really tight. Um, and it's very intense. It's pretty crazy. I will
I can
tell you, it's
imagine.
pretty crazy. And I think a lot of that translates to the TV show. And that's part of the fun of it, is that they have this pressure to put this show on. And these are people who are not professional
Yeah.
performers. They are not professional singers, dancers, actors. They are normal people who did a musical in high school. And now 10, 20, 30, 40 years later, we're having them do it again in such a short period of time. It is a little bit crazy, but I think that's the fun of it. That's the
Yeah,
joy of it as
yeah.
well.
And
Yeah,
it must be so great to see it finally come onto stage as well, because you always get a show to varying degrees of of kind of
success.
success,
Yeah,
but you always
exactly.
get a really good show
We
out of
always
it,
do put a show together at the end with,
and
yeah,
it's
like you
great to
said, sort of
watch.
mixed results. I think it's really fun to watch, and I'm always really proud of it, and I'm really proud of those casts at the end of every week because that is a big thing. I don't know if I could do it, frankly. Like, I'm sitting in the pit with my baton in my hand,
Yeah,
and I don't know what I'm doing half the time, and I've got the score sitting in front of me. They're up on that stage, without any sort of crutch to help them, but they sure go for it, and
yeah.
that's kind of the brilliance of it and the beauty of Encore is to see them pull it together and put on a show.
Everyone kind of puts everything into it for this 1 week. And
Yeah.
so, what was your favorite show of the ones that you did? You've done, what is it, seven? You've done 7 shows with Encore now.
Yeah, including the
Okay.
pilot, which is not available,
Yeah.
I think, for viewing anywhere, but the 6 on Disney Plus.
So, what was your favorite one to be a part of?
I mean, honestly, they all they all had their moments. I didn't not enjoy any of them, to
Yeah.
use sort of a double negative.
Hmm.
They all were enjoyable to do. They were all great groups of people. We got to go all over the country. Anything Goes was really special for me because that cast was just fabulous. They were in their 60s.
And
They
they were
did
amazing. They were
Anything Goes as their high school musical in 1975, and now they have reunited. What is that, 45 years later?
about 40 plus
35.
years, it must be.
40? 35. I can't do math in my head. 35, 40, 45. I can't do it. Someone.
35 to 45, somewhere in between.
Oh my God. Anyway, it's been decades.
Yeah, we'll go with
And
that.
they were just super funny. And they also were surprisingly really, really talented. Like, they all could sing really well, which was sort of mysterious.
Yeah,
So that was just a joy. It was also the final episode we shot, so it was very bittersweet for me to say goodbye to that crew that I'd been with all summer. Um, Fiddler was a great one, Fiddler on the Roof, because that show was really special to me. I had performed in it as a youth,
yeah.
and that was like the best sort of final performance I think that we got. And we were at the beautiful Pasadena Playhouse in
Brilliant theatre.
LA, which is a gorgeous theater. Um, they all were good. Annie was great because it was the first one we did with the new season, and we were in San Diego where I've worked a lot, so I knew a lot of the musicians. That was really fun. I can't pick a favorite. They're all
Fair
great.
enough.
Everyone should go watch go watch the whole season and then
Yeah.
write to me on Twitter. You tell me what's your favorite.
Everyone go and watch Encore on Disney Plus, of course.
Exactly.
Okay, so you mentioned it was sad to say goodbye to the crew. Do you think you'll be seeing everyone again for a series 2, perhaps, eventually when all this calms down?
I don't know. I would really, really like to.
Yeah.
And I know we all would really like to. Obviously, the pandemic that is
Yeah.
the scourge of the world at the moment has really thrown a wrench in the works. TV production has all come to a halt, as has theater, any live theater. And the real question, I think, is when can any live theater come back? When will Broadway be back? When will the West End be back? There are so many risk factors when you get a bunch of
Yeah.
people of a certain age sitting next to each other in a room, and then you've got a bunch of cast members, sweating and singing and spitting on them and dancing and doing all these
Hmm.
things. And you've got pit musicians also in very close quarters without any ventilation in these old theaters. So right now it's really just, I think, a waiting game,
Yeah.
and we'll see. I think everyone involved with Encore would be overjoyed to make more, including
Okay.
myself.
So, including yourself, what show would you personally want to work on as the music director if you were to do a series 2? Let's put you on the
There are
spot there a little
so
bit.
many. There are just so many because I love almost all musicals.
Yeah.
I would love to do Hello Dolly, one of my all-time favorites.
Okay. One of the
Um,
classics.
Classics, The Music Man, also. More somewhat contemporary stuff like Rent would be great to do.
Hmm.
Hairspray. I would love to do some Sondheim. I got to do a little bit for the pilot with Into the Woods,
Yeah.
but I would love to jump in there and do like a Sweeney Todd or
Ooh,
a
yeah.
Follies. I don't know of any high schools that are doing Follies or that should be doing Follies, but I would like to music direct it. I'll put that out there. I'd love to do a West Side Story, Chorus Line. There's so many great shows.
Loads.
That's the beauty of it. There's so many great shows, and we just need to find the high schools that did them and then gather them all together and put it back up.
Put on the show, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now a more kind of personal version of this question. So you must have done high school productions in your time when you were at high school. Now, if you were on Encore as one of the returning students, what show would you like to revisit personally?
Well, I mean, to be actually very honest with you, I would not necessarily want to be a cast member on Encore because the pressure is so intense and the
Yeah.
stress. And I'm not a performer anymore. I haven't performed since high school.
Hmm.
So it would be a little embarrassing for me, but I would still do it because that's what Encore asks of you.
Yeah.
But certainly I would not. It wouldn't be my first choice to be like singing and dancing on
Okay.
international television at this point, but I would do it.
What would you do? What show?
Well, freshman year we did Bye Bye Birdie and I played Harvey Johnson.
Yeah.
And that would be a really great show for Encore to do. Harvey Johnson's a very small part, so I wonder in Encore tradition if we'd have to sort of change up who plays what. Sophomore year I did Oklahoma, but I was only in the ensemble and we've already done that at Encore anyway. Junior year was Once Upon a Mattress and I played Prince
Okay.
Douglas, and that is probably the show because I starred in it.
Oh, of course.
And because it's a great show for high schools. That's probably the one that we would go back to do. Funny story, senior year,
Yeah.
the show was Fiddler on the Roof.
Was it really?
It really was. I know. You act so surprised. And and I was cast as Muddle the Tailor, who
Okay.
sings Miracle of Miracles, of course. But the song was a little too high for me, and I requested that it be transposed down. The vocal
Okay.
director, who was not a huge fan of mine for various reasons, refused, even after I offered to hand transpose all the orchestra parts. She still refused, saying it would set a bad precedent and that everyone would want to do it. And ultimately, I quit that show, quit the cast of the show anyway, and
Yeah.
joined the pit orchestra.
Nice.
And that is sort of where the tide all turned for me, and I kind of never went back on the stage in any real way.
So then from then on, you went on to play keyboard in the pit of Broadway shows as well.
Hmm.
You've done Adam's Family, Finding Neverland as well. So
Yeah,
what's that kind of like being on the other side of the stage, almost underneath it?
that's great. And for me, that's much preferable. That's where I
Yeah,
prefer to be. Other people would certainly disagree with me who love being on the stage.
yeah,
But I love playing in a pit. I love making music with a group of musicians, especially at a Broadway level where they're just such high caliber musicians.
yeah,
And to top it all off, they're mostly all really lovely human beings. And it's a really special experience for someone like me who grew up loving Broadway, but living very far away from it in a very small town in Michigan and only really experiencing it through cast albums.
yeah,
To then go to New York and play in the pit of a Broadway musical was a huge deal for me when I made my debut on Addams Family all those years ago. Um, of course, it was really stressful because I was subbing or depping, as you say, in
yeah,
the UK, and that's insanely stressful and a lot of high pressure. But once you get through the first few shows, then you can really enjoy it. And I
yeah.
really did enjoy it. It's just a pleasure and a privilege to show up to a theater every night and be a part of putting on a show in any way,
I can
and
imagine.
knowing
Yeah,
that there might, be an audience member that is really connecting to that and really, I don't know, finding themselves through the story that you're helping to tell.
yeah, yeah. And it must be such a wonderful atmosphere and a wonderful kind of honor to be a part of something so special.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, and you've not only been in the Broadway pit, you've not only been on Encore, but you've also written a musical yourself, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, I've written a few musicals, to be honest with you, but only one that's like had a cast recording, I guess.
Okay, and that cast recording is of Tarrytown, the musical. So, for those who haven't heard of it, what can you tell us about it? What's it kind of about?
Sure. Tarrytown is a musical that is loosely based on a short story by Washington Irving called The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, which
Okay,
many listeners are probably familiar with, the story of Ichabod Crane and the Headless Horseman. I have reset it to modern day. It uses a cast of 3 people, and it sort of recontextualizes the same plot, but in a modern sort of gay way, I guess you would
yeah,
say. It's been kicking around for a while. It had its world premiere production in San Diego a couple years back, won some awards there, and was
well done,
very
might I say,
successful.
well
Oh,
done for
thank you,
that.
thank you. I didn't win them; the show won. Um, and then yeah, and then in New York we did a reading with some wonderful, iconic, sort of well-known performers,
Yeah,
Jeremy Jordan, of course, Krista Rodriguez, Andy Mientus, and at that time we recorded uh, the bulk of the score as well with a 6-piece band. And I have just in the past week really released
yeah,
that to the public, with all proceeds going to the Actors Fund, which is a charity organization in the US that is currently providing relief for sort of all the entertainers who have been waylaid
yeah.
by this crazy pandemic.
Well, okay, and in reference to that as well, of course, we're both at home. We're both staying at home, staying safe, of course. How are you finding it? Are you finding time to work on other future projects, or are you just kind of taking it day by day?
I'm really taking it day by day. I'm trying to work on future projects. I
Yeah,
have now and then sat down to write and gotten some outlines and things together for a new show. So there's a little work being happened. There's a little work happening or being
yeah,
done. Um, I'm also just trying to take it day by day,
of
doing
course.
a little gardening. I've been practicing the tin whistle, which is very fun for me. Um, yeah, I need to be writing more, but well, when it first started, I was actually still working because I work during the school year full time as a professor of musical theater at a university in Pittsburgh called Point Park University in
Okay.
their musical theater BFA program. So we were still very much in session when this all happened, and that's when we all moved online.
Yeah,
And I will say that teaching musical theater online is very daunting and
yeah,
very challenging, and I'm sure we'll be doing more of it in the fall. So, oof, gird yourselves. Uh, but yeah, once we broke for the summer. Now I've been just trying to get some writing done, but also
Yeah.
some practicing, also some yard work. Really just trying to take it easy and focus on doing things
Yeah.
I can do to help the situation, I guess.
Yeah. Just kind of get through it. And then
Yeah,
hopefully when it's safe to do so, the theatres will reopen and we'll be able to do what we love most, of course.
exactly.
Okay. And yeah, so Encore as well. We're going back to Encore now. Big
Mhm.
success. Would you ever think about, and hear me out, coming over to the UK and doing maybe a series in the UK of Encore?
I would love nothing more than to do that. That would be the ultimate dream. My partner lives in London. I did
Okay.
my master's degree at Goldsmiths in London. Um, I love it there, and I would love to shoot a season there. It would be so good because you all do the same sort of High School Musicals we do,
Yeah,
as far as I
we do.
know. It would be great. I really hope we get to. Um, I think it might happen,
I think.
because yeah, the showrunner and executive producer of Encore, Alicia Rossiter, she had lived in London as a child and gone to school there and things. So I know she would like it too. It's never been brought up as far as I know. You'd have to ask some actual producers because
Yeah.
I actually don't know very much about what goes on behind the scenes. But God, that would be the dream. I would love it.
Well, we would love it as well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We would
I
love.
just hope they wouldn't. I feel like they would replace me with like a British MD, wouldn't they?
No, they can't do that.
Can they not?
No, you've got to come over. You've got to come over and do it.
I'm over there all the time anyway. I'll happily come over, but then I have to get into all the quavers and crotchets and things, and I'm not good with those terminologies. So I'd have
Oh.
to do some brush ups.
No, it'd be great to have Encore come over to the UK. It'd be
I would
absolutely
love to
brilliant.
do it. Oh my God.
Okay, so that just about concludes that interview for the show. It's been amazing having you on here. Absolutely brilliant.
Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure.
No, thank you for accepting my invitation onto the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Adam Wachter, star of Disney Plus's Encore, which you can watch at home right now. Thank you very
Yay.
much.
Thank you.